After almost a week in Tokyo, it was time to see more of Japan. One of the easiest ways to get around the country was by train, and luckily I had managed to snag a Japan Rail Pass before they increased the price. At Tokyo Station, I picked up an Ekiben and boarded the bullet train, known as the Shinkansen. Ekibens are railway station boxed meals that you can find at any station where there are shinkansens. I picked up one that featured a variety of regional specialties. My first stop was a bit of a journey to get to, but because it was Japan, it was overall a pleasant experience. After an hour on the Shinkansen, I reached Nagano Station and transferred to another train. Another hour later, I reached Matsumoto Station and caught the bus with 3 minutes to spare. This took another 1.5 hours, and then I reached the Hiraiyu Onsen bus terminal. It was so beautiful outside and worlds away from the hustle and bustle of Tokyo. But I still had one more bus ride.
今から申し上げる3つのバスで、降りる人いなければ、もう飛ばしてしまって。
Ryokans are an experience you don't want to miss if you visit Japan. They are traditional Japanese inns often found in hot spring towns and feature tatami mats, futon beds, communal baths, and usually include dinner and breakfast meals. This particular one I booked was not only within my budget, but also featured 2 private outdoor baths. First thing I did after checking in was put on the yukata provided and go to the onsen, or hot spring bath. It was gorgeously integrated into the natural surroundings, and I couldn't believe I had it all to myself. At around 6 p.m., I headed downstairs for dinner. Sadly, it was a short stay, as it was only for one night. So I made sure to use the onsen bath one more time the next morning before checking out. My next destination required 2 buses to get to. Shirakawa-go is a historic village and UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for the Gasho Tsukuri farmhouses. The thatched roofs of these houses are steep and thick, designed to withstand the heavy snowfall in the winters. I headed straight for lunch at a restaurant called Irori. I got the Hida beef set as that was the local specialty. Hida beef comes from Japanese black-haired cattle and is known for its high-quality marbling. Even though the temperature outside was in the low 20s, it still felt quite hot under the sun, so I stepped into a cafe to cool down. This charming cafe was situated in a house over 130 years old, furnished in tatami mats with low chairs and provided a lovely view of the surrounding village. Finally, it was time to check into my accommodation. I almost didn't manage to book a stay here at one of the farmhouses. They get booked out in advance quite quickly. When I got there, I was greeted by the cute elderly couple that lives there. They didn't speak much English, but just enough, and were super friendly. By this point in the day, it was no longer as hot, so I went out to walk around the village. Strolling among these beautiful traditional houses, it felt like I was in a Ghibli film. You can also walk up to a viewpoint to see the village from above. From here, you can really see how the village is set into the valley, surrounded by mountains. I can just imagine how beautiful it must be in the snow. Dinner was provided by the guest house. This was an incredible meal that also included hira beef. I was so full, but I ate everything. For breakfast the next day, the host served another delicious meal. This one included hoba miso, another regional specialty. One of the perks of staying overnight in the village is being able to walk around when the tourist buses are not there, so I went for a little walk in the morning before checking out. Before I jump on another train, I want to share with you something that'll make getting around on your trip in Japan easier. A kind thank you to Klook for sponsoring today's video. On Klook, you can book all kinds of experiences for your travel, including a pass for getting around the Takayama area, which includes Shirakawago. But let's say you want to book a JR Rail Pass. Just open up the Klook app, search up JR Pass, and the one for all of Japan will pop up. Pick the pass length, the train car class, free delivery, and the free add-ons. Enter your details and then pay. It's super easy and you can manage all your tickets right from the app. Klook also supports over a dozen languages as well as 40 currencies, which is important so you can avoid surprise exchange fees. Download the app and sign up for Klook today and use my promo code Daphne Xplores to get 10% off your first booking. There is also currently a big sale going on until the end of the month, and if you use my promo code on top, you can get an even bigger discount, so definitely go and check that out. After leaving Shirakawa-go, I rode a bus for 3 hours to Nagoya, then changed to a train to get to Nagiso, a town located in the Nagano prefecture. Here, sunshine was replaced by refreshing rain. A helpful lady at the station provided me with some pamphlets and directed me to the bus stop. I was heading to a ryokan just outside the old post town, Tsumago. The plan was to hike a popular section of the Nakasendo trail the next day, between Tsumago and another post town called Magome. The ryokan I stayed at was quite big inside, and seemed quite busy. Given how difficult it was to find a place to stay around here, I imagine it was fully booked with other hikers. At 6 p.m., dinner was served in the dining area. It seemed as if each meal was even better than the last. I decided to use the luggage transport service offered and dropped off my big backpack for 1,000 yen. I then set off for Tsumago. Tsumago is one of the 69 post towns on the Nakasendo Trail and has now been restored to its historical appearance, with buildings preserved from the Edo period. When I got here, it was still quite early and none of the shops had opened yet. I meandered through the charming and peaceful town until more visitors started arriving and it began to get livelier. At Kojitsu Coffee, I ordered an affogato. It was heavenly. I also saw a shop selling oyaki, steamed buns with different fillings. Finally, it was time to start walking. While the entire Nakasendo Trail covers a distance of over 530 kilometers, most visitors these days will just walk the well-maintained 8-kilometer section between Tsumago and Magome in either direction. During the Edo period, this trail was used as a route between Tokyo and Kyoto. The hike is not difficult and extremely well marked, and I don't think I went longer than 5 minutes without seeing another person, making it a great activity for solo travelers. Also, there were tons of toilets along the way, so no worries if you have a hasty bladder. At around the halfway point, I reached a traditional tea house that was open to visitors. Here you can take a break and help yourself to tea. By the time I reached Magome, it was early afternoon and it was packed with visitors. Compared to Tsumago, Magome is much steeper, making for a better view from the top. After picking up my backpack at the tourist center, I checked into my accommodation. If you do this hike, I would highly recommend staying overnight in the post towns. Like in Shirakawa-go, it allows you to experience the place after all the day tourists have left. When I stepped out in the evening, it was incredibly peaceful and you could see all the stars. For dinner, I went to a recommended kaiseki restaurant called Haginoya. Here, I was given a private room to dine in as well. Kaiseki refers to a traditional Japanese multi-course meal predetermined by the chef. It was my last morning before heading back out to the city, so I tried to really soak in the atmosphere. Next stop, Kyoto.